Story. In the summer of 1875, especially in the Midwest, it was virtually impossible to never have heard the name, Angel Ramos aka El Toro. The Mexican immigrant robbed as many as 10 banks in a year. He was wanted dead or alive, but the government had never been able to catch him, no matter where he went. For now, however, he was lying low on a ranch over in the northern part of Texas. That man was spectacular. It was rumored that he once shot an apple off some son of a bitch's head from 30 yards away, with his revolver. It seemed like Angel had been blessed with luck. However, that luck finally came to an end when U.S. Marshal Buck Carson finally bested him. Carson was a different animal in his own right. His use of a gun was second to none, even Angel. He had brought down many notorious outlaws over the years. His name was revered throughout the frontier. It had almost been an honor from Uncle Sam himself to have that man on your tail. Carson had been pursuing Angel for some time before finally tracking him to a ranch, near the abandoned town of Cedar Hollow. At last Angel's day had come. He was working in the fields when Carson surprised him. Angel reacted just in time to avoid a lethal hit, but the bullet got him right in his abdomen. He managed to get away from Carson, before speeding off on one of the horses from a nearby stable. Angel dashed into town. Mortar craters, gunshot holes, debris, and cracked buildings made up the street. Carson was right on his trail but was a bit behind him. When he turned the corner to go down Cedar Hollow's main road, Carson saw Angel's horse outside of a saloon, unhitched, and dirt shoe prints on the porch, going in. Carson got down from his horse, drew his revolver, and cautiously walked up the porch. He pinned his back to the wall, just outside the doors, and peeked into the saloon. He was very surprised to see Angel, sitting at a table, clutching his side while calmly looking out a window to his right, up into the sky. Angel's belt, holsters attached to it, with his notorious gold-plated guns, Wrath and Fury, were on the floor to his left near the main entrance. Carson, aiming down the sight of his revolver, walked through the doors, into the saloon. Carson bent down to pick up the belt, whilst his eyes and gun were still trained on Angel. He moved on to the table that Angel was sitting at, and sat down with him. His revolver never left the sight of Angel. "I can at least respect the fact you've made this easier for both of us," Carson said. "I had a pretty good run." Angel replied. Yes you did," Carson responded. "I'll tell you this, Mr. Ramos, I'll fill the chamber with all but one bullet. Leave it up to fate whether or not you step out of here alive." "No," Angel snaps back. "Why not?" Carson replies. "I leave nothing up to fate or luck. If I die, I die," Angel says. Chuckling, Carson says, "Maybe there is some honor left in outlaws these days." "A beat." With vigor, Angel says, "They called me El Toro." Angel smirks and looks at Carson. "Do you want to know why they call me that?" "Not really that intrigued," Carson replies. "I guess I've got some time now." Continuing, Angel says, "El Toro means the bull, and bulls are strong and ruthless by nature. And look at where we are now," Carson says back. Looking back into the window, "Yes, look at where we are now," Angel said. Out of curiosity, Carson asks, "Now that we're here, was it worth it?" I mean why, for all of this, just to be here? I knew you must have known that this day was coming. You make it sound as if it is a choice. Looking back at Carson. Guys like me, this is how we survive, out on the run, taking down anything that gets in our way. It's all we know, no one is coming to save us, Angel said. It's a funny world we live in, I guess, Carson replies. Yes, Angel said, before going on, humans, we're animals at heart, you cannot blame us for our nature. If you saw a hyena eating a wildebeest, you would not imprison the hyena, would you? We're not just animals anymore, we're smart animals, we have society, customs, order, and we can't lose it. Unfortunately, some have to bite the bullet to show that to others. Smirking, you said it, Angel says, before continuing. Do you believe in a heaven and hell, Mr. Carson? Not particularly, Carson replied. They say guys like me are going to hell, but it all becomes clearer to me at this moment. This was my punishment. And you, what about you? Where would you be going if the idea of a heaven or hell were true? Angel asked. Well, I haven't given it much thought if I'm being honest. But if I had to guess, it'd be heaven. And why is that, Mr. Carson? Angel replied. I fight for the greater good. That has to mean something to the man above, if he's there, of course, Carson said. Angel snaps back, I tell myself the same thing, Mr. Carson. We're two sides of the same coin, the only difference being we justify the bad things that we do differently, but in the end, the fact of the matter is, we're both killers, on a quest for survival. Maybe you're right, Mr. Ramos, Carson says, getting up from the table, but I'm afraid our time is up now. Carson, standing over Angel, who looking up at him, aims the revolver at his head. Smirking. In the next life, Mr. Carson, Angel said. And with one pull of the trigger and a loud bang, Angel Ramos aka El Toro was dead.